Hi, I'm Natalie and welcome to this session where I'm going to show you how to write a kick-ass personal statement. So many students get hung up on a personal statement, which is ridiculous because all it is a statement about you, who you are, what you're hoping to go to university to study and why that might be. And the most important thing that I'm going to tell you today is to be yourself. Now, you might be somebody that has had loads of great experience, done lots of work experience, trips, volunteering, anything to kind of work out what you want to do with your life. Or you might be like me when I applied to university and you might not feel like you have anything to put on your personal statement at all. I'm going to show you today how to make the most out of the experience you do have and what you should be including on your personal statement. I've helped write and review personal statements for students getting into the top universities, Oxford, Cambridge, Durham, etc. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. So how do you write a kick-ass personal statement? Well, the first thing is you need to include these 4 things. You need to include your motivations and interests. What are you hoping to study and why? At the end of the day, the person reading your personal statement is probably going to be a specialist in the area that you are applying to. So if you are applying to do an English degree, at some point you need to say why you are hoping to study English, what is motivating you to do that. Most university courses are difficult. Most of them are at least 3 years. So you are going to be studying this subject for a long time, and tutors and admissions officers want to know why you're going to keep at it. So motivations and interests is the first thing. The second thing is your experience, and more importantly than that, the skills those experiences have given you. What I mean by that is there is no worse personal statement than somebody who writes 5 paragraphs detailing every possible piece of work experience and volunteering they have done. They have backpacked across Thailand. They have built schools in Africa. They've been on ski trips and they've worked in old people's homes and they've nursed a sick puppy back to health. And that's all well and good. But not once have they mentioned what that taught them, how that helped them. It is far better to have a single thing you can talk about, but you can go into depth about how it taught you something. So for example, you might have helped out at a local youth group. Okay, you might have run some sessions or done some volunteering or done some mentoring there. And it's important that you talk about what that taught you. It might have taught you about communication. It might have taught you about leadership. It might have taught you about helping others, organization, cooperation. Think about the experience you have and the skills that you have gained from it. That's the important bit. Don't just write a shopping list of everything you've ever done in your life, because that's not interesting. The third thing is your future aspirations. So your degree is one part of your journey through life. You have had a journey up to this point, and you'll have talked then about what that journey has led, how that journey has led you to this point. The admissions people now want to know what you're going to do next. And if you don't know, that's okay. It might be your future aspiration is to get this degree and absorb as much of the stuff that's available to you as possible. It might be that you know you're going to do a medicine degree and you want to go and be a heart specialist, and that's always been your dream, and here's why. Think about your future aspirations. What are you going to do with your degree? And if you don't know, make it more general. What do you hope to gain from being at university? And most importantly, the thing to include is you. If there is something that is really fundamental to you, really important to you, something that really lights you up, then talk about it, because that's going to come across well. Don't talk about things you find boring, because it's going to read boring. Now, What about if you're one of those people that thinks, I don't have any experience to include, I haven't done any work experience, I haven't done any volunteering, I haven't worked with anybody else? You still have valuable experience because you are living and you have got to this point of wanting to study a subject for a number of years. So think about things you might have done at school. Think about things you might do at home. I once had a student who said, all I ever do is play video games. And I said, okay, what kinds of video games? What do you do with them? What do you learn from them? And we realized that actually they'd play tournaments and they'd help host tournaments, and they knew absolutely everything about this video game. They were one of the world leaders almost in understanding this one specific game. And we thought about what that had taught them. And they had event organization skills, they had in-depth knowledge, they had the ability to understand, recall, and develop new ideas within the game. So it's all about what have you done up to this point, and think about what it has taught you. Every single one of you has experience that you can put on a personal statement. Believe me, nothing is too small to have taught you something. And you don't need to include 12 things, you need to include 1, maybe at a push 2. And that brings me on to my top tips. Don't try to include too much. It is far better to have quality over quantity. You have a character limit on your personal statement. You cannot write your entire memoirs as your personal statement. As I said, it is much better to include 1 or 2 pieces of experience that you can show have really taught you something and have been really significant in getting you to the point you are, than listing everything you've achieved in the last 18 years. Any experience can be made relevant. Think about how it's helped to develop an interest, a skill, a knowledge, an understanding. Even the most insignificant things can be made into a relevant experience. So think about anything that you've done up to this point, even if it's I played on a sports team when I was 10, that's a relevant experience because it shows teamwork, it shows commitment, it shows that you understand training, it shows that you understand communication. Anything can be made into a relevant experience. Don't try and sound like someone you're not. There is nothing worse than reading a personal statement that reads the same as the past 50 personal statements you have read. This is a professional document, absolutely, but it needs to be in your voice. Don't try and sound fancy. Don't try and pretend that you're something you're not. Be yourself, because it is a personal statement. It's about you. So don't try and fob yourself off like someone you're not. Not going to help if your university does interviews either, because they're going to read a personal statement, see the person in front of them and go, And finally, be honest and sincere. Don't lie. Please don't lie on your personal statement. Other than the morality of that issue, you will be found out. So don't lie on your personal statement. Be honest and be sincere. It's not about bigging yourself up. It's about laying on the table, this is who I am, this is how I've got to this place, and this is where I want to go. That's all you're trying to do. And don't put too much value on a personal statement. They are one part of a wider picture. A university will receive a lot of information about you, a personal statement, a reference from your school, your predicted grades. They might have a portfolio of work they want. They might have an interview process. They might have admissions tests. There is a whole puzzle picture of things that they are going to see about you. Your personal statement is just one part of it. It is not the be all and end all. If you are struggling with where to start with your personal statement, my number 1 tip is to jot down 3 things that interest you about the course you're going to apply in. If you don't know what course you're going to apply in, you cannot write your personal statement yet, because it has to be relevant to what you're planning to do. Now, I can guarantee somebody is already thinking the question, but I'm applying for 2 different courses. That's absolutely fine. Write your personal statement with a view of the one that is your favorite, or make it more general so that it suits both. But for example, let's say you're applying to do medicine and you're also applying to do some biochemistry. Whichever is your favorite, make your personal statement more tailored to that, or make it very generic and talk about your love of sciences and the experience that's got you to that point. If anyone is still struggling to get started or has any questions about personal statements, please, please, please drop a comment in the box below. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And if there's so many questions, I will do a follow-on video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that helped. Good luck with your personal statements, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.